Great. Well, hello and welcome to this Jolly Phonics training. My name is Dan and I work for an organization called Beyond Ourselves Zambia. And so I'm really interested, as we're getting started, this is now live on YouTube as well, and it will be posted onto our Facebook Live site as well. Let me just turn off this volume because otherwise we're going to get an echo here. But as we're doing this, I'd be really keen for you to just introduce yourself. Let us know where you are joining from. We know that we've done training throughout Zambia. We've done training in Copperbelt extensively. So if you're here from Copperbelt, fantastic, welcome. We've done training in Central Province, Luapula, and we're looking to do more training in Northern Province, Lusaka, and the rest of Zambia as well. So if you're joining us from different places in Zambia, please do let us know. I'm really keen to connect with people that are interested in English literacy and improving their understanding of how to deliver it effectively. So we'd be really keen to get to know you. Equally, if you are connecting from outside of Zambia, we know that there's a lot of people here that are following us on Facebook, that are following from Nigeria or Ghana or Kenya. We know that there's other Jolly Phonics projects going out that way, and we'd really be keen to get to know you as well, okay? And how we can connect and support each other and work together better. All right, good. So it's great to see those comments coming in. Please make sure you are muted. If you've got questions, you can put your hand up and we'll or send a message, and I'll try and address some of those questions along the way. But today really is about finding out, how do you start using Jolly Phonics? We want to find out, how have you gone from hearing this phrase, Jolly Phonics, when talking about English literacy. You might have heard it on the news, you might have heard it at your provincial educational meetings, you might have seen it in the newspapers. But how can you go from hearing these words to implementing it in your classroom? Is it going to work in your classroom? So that's what we're looking at today. I'm going to try and share my screen with you. Technology never really works brilliantly, so let's see how we get on with this. So today I've got a PowerPoint presentation for you, and it is hopefully come alive there. Can you see that? All right. I hope you can see that fine. But today we are looking at this question of how to start using Jolly Phonics. So my name is Dan Whitcomb, and I'm a certified Jolly Phonics trainer. I've been working for Beyond Ourselves for about 13 years now, 10 of which has been in Zambia. So doing training with teachers in the Zambian context. And we have been using a program called Jolly Phonics. So Jolly Phonics is an internationally acclaimed English literacy program. And what we've done is we've worked with local language experts and curriculum experts, and we've put together this it's accredited Jolly Phonics Teacher's Guide. So it's been approved by the Curriculum Development Centre, it's been approved by the Ministry of Education, and it's been approved by Jolly Phonics, the original authors of Jolly Phonics. So it's an internationally acclaimed program. It's aligned with the curriculum, the competence-based curriculum, and it's available in Zambia. It's completely contextualized for Zambia. So we're going to be talking about that resource as well as we're going along. So I hope you can see my screen okay. I can see that there's some comments in the chat. Hope nobody's saying that they can't hear me, but we're coming along. Okay, good. I think we're fine. So this is what we're going to be looking at today. We're going to be looking at, why is Jolly Phonics needed? What is Jolly Phonics? And in particular here, we're going to be looking at the 5 steps of a Jolly Phonics lesson. The 8 steps of a Jolly Phonics lesson that deliver the 5 skills of Jolly Phonics. And then finally, probably the most important question, we're also going to be looking at, how can you start using Jolly Phonics? We want it to go from people that are just hearing about Jolly Phonics to now knowing about how to get more out of the program to really see their learners blossom and break through with ease. okay? Because that's what we're seeing in Zambia. We're seeing learners that are making 2 to 3 times the progress using Jolly Phonics over the primary literacy program and the resources that they've found so far, okay? So that's where we're at. So I can still see people messaging, saying where they're from. Let us know whether you've been trained by us already or not, or whether you've had any experience of Jolly Phonics, because that's really helpful to know as well. Right, so the first question that we're thinking about really is, why is Jolly Phonics needed? What is the situation that we found in Zambia, and what's not working at the moment? So I want you to take a little bit of time to answer some questions for me first. Can you tell me, what are the challenges that you've been facing when trying to help your learners to break through or to read and write in English? So have a little think about what have been some of the challenges that you've found so far. And then I'd be really interested in just seeing some of your comments alongside that as well. So I'm just going to give you a moment or two to do that. Okay, so hopefully that's some time to see some of your answers coming in, but we're really thinking about, before we get onto this training, I want to know, how can this training be as helpful to you as possible? So really is that question of, what is the current situation in your classroom? What are the challenges that you're facing? Often when we come to a training, we find that teachers are saying, we're saying that it's a case that their learners struggle with the different sounds that are happening in English to Zambian language, because we'll find that that all of Zambian languages, they're Bantu based. And what that means is that all of the sounds are very transparent, meaning that if the letters always make the same sounds. Whereas when you come to English, it's a lot more complicated. We've got 44 sounds, and we've got over 170 different ways of spelling those sounds. So it's really tricky to make sure that learners are using the right spelling choices for the right words. And that's where Jolly Phonics is really comprehensive. It starts off by teaching one spelling choice for the main 42 sounds. And then in the second year of the program, it builds on that and it introduces alternative spellings. And then that continues into grade 3. And it's really in line with the curriculum. So when you look at the national curriculum for Zambia, you'll see that grade 1 is about teaching certain spelling choices for the sounds. And then grade 2, that's when different spellings for those sounds are introduced as well. Okay, so I'm hearing some things from the chat. I can see that where, some people are having difficulty with blending and segmenting. What we've found with Jolly Phonics is that as we've been going into schools and talking to teachers, we found that often an issue that we have is that they're following a method of teaching which is called whole word recognition. So I hope you can see my screen here, but you'll see that around the world, generally, teaching has swung between 2 methods of teaching phonics, or teaching reading, sorry. That's whole word recognition and phonics. So whole word recognition, when we're coming to Zambia, that's generally, that's the look and say, or the rote learning, the memorization of words using flashcards. That's the approach that we've seen in lots of books that we find in our classrooms in Zambia already. The whole language, the whole word, whole language approach teaches learners to identify words based on their context and looking at the picture. So it encourages a level of guesswork from the learners as well. And I can see that some of the comments coming in from people in Botswana and Nigeria and Ghana, you're seeing this too, that often learners are being encouraged to guess words, and they're not being encouraged to sound things out or to work things out for themselves. If we have a look at some examples from Zambia, we'll see this. It's not a great quality image, but you'll see the books Malenga and Jolita. So Jolita and Malenga, they're two characters that we've found in our classrooms. And many of us in Zambia might have learnt to read using Jolita and Malenga. And you'll see from these books that they really do encourage learners to look at the pictures. They encourage learners to see the repeated words, and it's asking them to remember those repeated words. So let's read this book together. We've got on this first page, it says, "This is Malenga. Look at Malenga. This is a ball. This is a ball. Look at the ball. Look at the ball. The ball is green. It is a green ball." Okay, so you can see that there's repetition of the words Malenga. There's a picture of Malenga. There's repetition of the ball, and they show you that it's a green ball. And the idea is that at the end of this book, our learners should know Malenga. They want them to know the word look, and they want them to know the word ball as well. And the issue that we've had in Zambia is that often these methods work for some learners, because whole word methods, they've been popular because some learners learn to read fast. Those children that can memorize those words, when they see another book that's talking about this is Jolita, look at Jolita, they've remembered the words and they've been able to apply that to the new book. But the problem is that asking children to memorize words, well, our memory is going to run out. You all know this from your phone. I'm sure that when you're taking photos and photos, eventually you have to delete some things or get rid of some things to make room for more memory. And that's the issue that we're finding with our learners. Some learners will learn fast or look like they're learning fast, but then they get stuck. And then you also get other learners that just the way that their brain remembers things is it doesn't work as effectively when it's whole words, but it works more effectively when it's sounds. And so some learners will appear to read fast, but their memories will run out and many children are left behind. And so I want to demonstrate this to you just now. So I'm going to give you a word to memorize. So a word is going to come up on this screen. So you're going to need to have a piece of paper and a pen because I'm going to give you 10 seconds to memorize the word. And then after that, that's when you can try writing the word down. Okay, so as the word is up, you're not allowed to cheat, no leakages. You're not allowed to copy anything whilst it's on the board. You're not allowed to take any photos, but instead you have to try and memorize that word. So I hope you're ready. Here we go. Your 10 seconds is going to start very soon. Oh, the word is in Arabic, not in English. Maybe that was a surprise for you, but try and remember this word. You've got 10 seconds. And there it goes. It's disappearing. So the word is gone. Goodness. So now I want you to, on your piece of paper and your pen, can you try and write down what that word was from your memory? Yeah, use your memory and try and write down that word. It's not easy, is it? And the problem is, that's what we're asking lots of our learners to do. If children haven't learnt the letters and they haven't learned the sounds, then we're asking them to just memorize the shapes of words. But Jolly Phonics really is It's about making sure that we're learning all the parts of the language, all of the sounds, how to write those sounds, and then how to put those sounds together to read, and how to take words and identify the sounds in those words to then be able to write those words. Okay, so what is Jolly Phonics? We know that it's needed, but how does it work? So phonics really comes from the Greek word phon, which means sound or voice. And it's a method for teaching reading and writing by developing learners' awareness of sounds. It's about learning all of the sounds of a language. Children need to be able to hear the sounds in words, identify those sounds in words, and then even move those sounds around, manipulate those sounds in words. And all of that will help them to become independent readers and writers. If children learn the relationship between those sounds and spelling patterns that represent them, then they can become independent writers. Okay, so Jolly Phonics uses what we call systematic synthetic phonics. So let me just explain that a bit, and then I'm going to talk about where you've seen this before, because you have seen this before. This is the same method that we've been using in Zambian language for a number of years, but instead, this is how it's applied in English. So systematic synthetic phonics means, well, the word phonics, we've already talked of, that means it relates to sounds. So it's about learning the smallest component of words, which is the sounds that make it up. Then systematic is this. So systematic means learning the sounds in an order that promotes application. Okay, so you'll see on the poster just behind me, it's not, well, this is the order that we learn the sounds in. It's not a case that we learn going from A to Z, but we actually learn the sounds in an order where we're learning the most common sounds first. Okay. So systematic synthetic phonics, let me just recap on a bit because we've just started recording. It's looking at learning all the sounds of a language, and then it's learning those sounds in a systematic order, in a predetermined order, a logical order that helps learners to then apply that to reading and writing. And then the last word that we've got here is synthetic. So synthetic is about getting those sounds and then putting them together, blending those sounds together. So we've done this in Zambian language. When we look at Zambian language, we learn the sounds, but we start off by learning the short vowels or the vowel sounds. And then after learning the vowel sounds in Zambian language, then we learn the consonants. And it's about putting the vowel sounds and the consonants together to make syllables. And that's how we then apply that to reading and writing in Zambian language. So we're using that same kind of methodology, but here's a key difference. And this is a really big difference. Okay, so I'm going to pause because I want you to hear this. A big difference that we have in Zambian language compared to English is that in English, we don't start by teaching the short vowel sounds and then teaching the consonants and then teaching the long vowel sounds. What we're doing here is that we're teaching the short vowel sounds and the consonants together, and they're integrated. And the reason that they're integrated, and we'll have a look at this in a moment, but they're integrated because it helps learners to apply that sound knowledge, that abstract sound knowledge, to actually reading and writing words. And that's a key difference. If we learn them just if learners just learn the vowels first, then it's really hard for them to apply that to reading, because there's not many words that you can make from just the vowels, right? But by learning the vowels alongside the consonants, we can make words. And so this is a great example here. So once a learner has learnt the first three sounds on here, so we've got s, a, and t, then it's about helping those learners to think, well, if we've got s and a together, that makes sa. And then sat, sat, helps us to get sat to make sat. Yep. So blending the sounds together means I think somebody's child is drawing on our PowerPoint presentation. So somebody might need to help with that. Okay. But yeah, if you're, there we go. So blending is about putting those sounds together, that sound knowledge, and running them together so that we can read words. So blending leads to reading. And then the opposite side of that, or actually we can see that, let's go to this one here. So you can see on this slide here, so this is blending. This is how learners learn to read. So you start with learners, they look at the letters, and then as they look at the letters, they convert those letters into sounds because they've been taught that, for instance, letter T makes the sound T, yeah, or they don't even need to be told this is the letter T, it says T, but they've been told that when they see a letter T, that it makes the sound T. They know that when they see the letter M, it makes the sound M, yeah? And so they convert, they see letters and they convert those letters into sounds. If they've been taught how to pronounce them and what they look like, that's when they can find sounds. And then to make words, they need to then run those sounds together. So they blend those sounds together to be able to read a word. So for instance, in that example that we had, they see the letter S, the letter A, the letter T, but they know that that says S, at, and then they can blend that together to make the word sat. Okay, good. Thank you very much. I'm seeing some people commenting on that. Yeah, they're getting it. Good. Can you give me a thumbs up if you're following this and if it's making sense? Because the blending, we start with letters, we convert those letters to sounds, and then we convert those sounds into words. That helps us to read. When we're looking at spelling or we're looking at writing words, that's when we actually start the opposite way around. Because if we want to write a word, we're starting with that word in our head. Yeah. So if I want to write the word hen, then I'm starting with that word in my head and I'm thinking, what are the sounds I can hear in that word? So that's what we call segmenting. So can you see, this time I want you to start, I don't know if you can see my mouse, my cursor here. We're starting at the bottom here and we're working up. So we're starting, what's the word that I want to write? So let's say I want to write the word hen. What are the sounds that I can hear in that word? So hen, the first sound I can hear is okay. And then I have to think, well, what does a look like? And I've remembered, because I've been taught what a looks like, I know that it looks like this. I know that it starts at the top, it goes down, down, up, and over. Yeah. So we start off with the word, then we think about what are the sounds I can hear, and then we turn those sounds into letters. What's the spelling choice that we're going to write down those for those sounds? Yeah. So hen, the first sound we can hear is h. So we write a h. Then the next sound, what can we hear next? N, hen. The next one we can hear is e. So we write an e, or the letter E. Yep. And then finally, what's the last sound that we can hear in the word hen? It's n. So again, it's turning that sound. We know what that sound is, but how do we write it? And that's where we need to have taught our learners the sounds and what they look like. Okay. So in Jolly Phonics and in English, we're looking at more than 26 letters of the alphabet. The problem is in Zambia is that often when we've been teaching English, we focus on just the 26 letters. But actually in English, when we get a combination of letters, when we get 2 letters together or sometimes 3 letters together, sometimes they make a new sound. And you can see that here. So here we've got 42 sounds. And you'll see that those 42 sounds are listed in 7 groups. So if you have a look at group number 4, can you see what the first sound there is in group number 4? It's represented by the letters A and I. And so if we think of like the word rain, for instance, if you look at the word rain, we write that by writing we'd write R, and then we've got A, and then N. I think I need to get my whiteboard out. So if we have a look at the word rain, we've got R, A, N. We've got 3 sounds there, R, A, and N. And you'll see that the letter A, the sound A is made up when 2 letters come together. And when we've got 2 letters that come together, that's called a digraph. Okay, so here's a list of the digraphs that we teach in Jolly Phonics. So we teach these spellings for these sounds in the first year of Jolly Phonics. If you're in grade 2, that's when we go on to alternative spellings. Because, again, if you remember, English is tricky. So we've got the A sound, but you can actually spell A a few different ways. So if you think of the word, let's say lake. If I want to write the word lake, it's written by going A, and the A sound is made, so we've got A, and the A sound is made with the split digraph A and E. I don't know if you can see this okay. Maybe I need to turn that light off. Okay, can you see my board okay? And then we've got other spellings of the word A. So for instance, if I say the word pay, yeah, if we have a look at the word pay, we've got P and A, yeah. And then we can have a look at other spellings. So if I said, oh, this is a tricky one, but if I said sleigh, or maybe let's a more common word. Let's go 8. Yeah, we've got A. So here we've got, that's actually a quadgraph. Yeah, so 4 letters that are making the sound A. So English is a complicated language, but Jolly Phonics doesn't try and teach all of those spelling choices in the first year. Instead, it chooses one spelling choice for each of the most common sounds. And then in grade 2, grade 3, that's when it teaches the other spelling choices, okay? So, Jolly Phonics introduces all of the sounds, and that includes these digraphs. So, maybe a good example for the digraphs is here. So you see the SH. When SH come together, that makes the sound sh, okay? But when S is on its own, it makes the sound s, and H is on its own, it makes the sound h. You notice how it doesn't become s. We don't say s, eep, we say sh, eep, yeah? So when these letters are found together, they make a new sound. So if you don't know all of these sounds, I would advise that you get the Jolly Phonics, the Jolly Phonics Lessons app, and I'll share a link with that later. But the Jolly Phonics Lessons app will give you guidance on those sounds. It's really great. You can just open the app. I don't know if you can see me there, but the app you can open on your phone, and when you press the sounds, it will give you what the sound looks like. So it will show you the sound and it will say it. So it'll go A, yeah, and it will coach you through all of those sounds as well. So if you don't know all of these digraphs, then I really recommend that you get on top of knowing those sounds. Okay, so what we've done in the Jolly Phonics Teacher's Guide is that we had a look at all of the sounds of English, and then we also compared that to the sounds of Zambian language. And so we've got a page like this in our appendix, but you can see it big on your screen here, hopefully. And this is showing you where some sounds are the same, and you'll see that first column. These sounds are all the same in Zambian language and in English. And then how some sounds are different. So for instance, these letters here, they all appear in Zambian language, but when they're in Zambian language, they make a different sound. So for instance, the letter C doesn't make a k sound in Zambian languages, it makes a ch sound most commonly. Okay, but in English, it most commonly says k. So there's sounds that are different, and then there's sounds where it's a bit new. So all of these letters are new when you're coming from Zambian language to English. And then, of course, all of these digraphs are also new. So that's really worth paying attention to, because when we have our learners starting to learn English, we need to think about what sounds are they already familiar with, what's their exposure to English already, and what's their expectations. When they see a letter, will they know what sound it makes, or will they still think that it will be making those Zambian language sounds? Okay? All right, good. In our resources here, we've actually got some key words to help us with the sounds, because the number one issue that we actually find where learners don't know the sounds of English is actually because the teachers are not confident of the sounds of English. So if that describes you, if you're a teacher, or if you're here as a parent that wants to help their child, it's really important that you get familiar with these sounds and that you get confident on, when you see those letter combinations, how you pronounce them. Okay, so there's these keywords that will help out, and then there's also additional notes or advice. Now, when we advertised this, we said that we would also include some free resources. We can send this this page, this PDF, out as well to the group, or we share it on our Facebook page. So do make sure that you're paying attention to how to get hold of those things as well. Again, completely free. All right, good. So we're going to try another activity, because sometimes teachers, they can understand that they need to teach all of the sounds, but we want you to understand why it's important that you teach them in the Jolly Phonics order. Because if you try and teach them just the vowel sounds, or even try and teach them in A to Z first, it's not going to be as impactful. Because remember, competence-based curriculum, it's all about application. So how can we help our learners to apply sound knowledge quickly to words? Well, we need to think about which sounds we're teaching them, and are they sounds that can be applied to reading and writing. So let's do this really quickly. I want you to, on a piece of paper, I want you to write down how many words you can that just use the letters or the sounds a, b, k, d, e, and f. Okay, so you're not allowed to have the word egg, because although there's an e there, there's no g. Yeah, so you can't have that word. You can't have the word elephant. You can't have the word ant, because there's an a, but there's no n, and there's no t. So just one more time, very clearly, you can only use these sounds and these sounds only to make words. Okay, and see how many words you can make. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. No, I'll give you 1 minute to write down as many words as you can. Okay, and your time starts now. Okay, that's 30 seconds. You've got 30 seconds left. Okay, and that is your minute up. Fantastic. I'm seeing some people writing in the comments. That's good. So I've got some, we've got there, yeah, we've got bad, bed, cafe, deaf, bed, dead. I'm seeing some good choices there. Let me show you what you could have had, okay? Are you ready? So you could have had all of these words written up here. But what you need to notice is that some words are written in black and some words are written in red. And the reason that some words are written in red is for this reason. And it's great, Lucy, to see that you've written, I see the word face there. So good, well done. However, remember this. These words here, we need to think, how would a learner try and read these words? That's right, some of them are not safe words. Because if a child was trying to read the word face, and they've just learnt f, a, k, and e, if they were trying to read the word face, they would go f, a, k, e, fak, e, okay? Which is not a safe word for many reasons, yeah? But so if a child's trying to read these words, if we have a look at these other red ones, the word feed, they wouldn't go f-e-d, they would go f-e-e-d, for ed. Yeah? The word dead, let's have a look at the word dead. They would go d-e-a-d. And so they would read that d-e-a-d. And so all of those words that we had in red are not safe words because they all can include irregular spellings of words or irregular spellings of sounds. So, or they include digraphs. So a child at this point, if they've learnt a, b, k, d, e, f, they wouldn't be able to read those words, okay? So I want you to try this again with the first 6 sounds of Jolly Phonics. So here we've got satpin. So have a look at these. And again, I want you to take 1 minute, write down as many words as you can that include these sounds and these sounds only, okay? Your time starts now. That's 30 seconds. You've got 30 seconds left. Okay, last 10 seconds. And that's 3, 2, 1. Good. So it's great to see so many more words. And in fact, yeah, all of these words are rattling on now. If you just use these 6 sounds, once a child's learnt these 6 sounds, a learner should be able to read these words. Do you see how many more that is than before? And actually, you've not just got those words, but you've got these words as well. And then these words, and then finally, these words. So in fact, actually, compared to the first 6 sounds of the alphabet, where you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 words, when you learn the first 6 sounds of Jolly Phonics, learners can apply that knowledge to reading and writing over 30 words. So that's incredible, isn't it? Can you imagine how much more motivating that is? How much more reading a child can do? And how much more enthusiasm they will have for school if they can read that many words and write that many words, okay? And that really does introduce a concept called safe words. So a safe word is a word that only contains sounds that have already been taught. So all of these words here at the bottom, all of these are safe words because these are words that once a child has learnt these sounds, they should be able to have a go at reading this word. So if they've learnt s, at, ip, then if they see the word s, p, I, they should have a go at being able to read that says spin. Sorry. So safe words is a really important point. If you don't understand safe words, then you want to watch some of our other videos on safe words. Okay. But what we've done is we can show you that every time a child reads, learns a new sound, more words become safe. So those words were all safe once a child's learnt the first 6 sounds, but then when a child learns the next sound, more words become safe. And then when they learn more become safe. When they learn more words become safe. And eventually, you'll see that they'll have more and more words. And we've put that all together in this document as well. So this is called the Safe Words Bank. And it's got every sound. And as you learn the sound, it's got a list of all the words that become safe. Okay, so again, that's at the back of the Jolly Phonics Teacher's Guide. It's a really important page, and it's really helpful for when you want to practice with your learners. And so what we tell our teachers is that when they've taught a sound, they can also then write those safe words onto flashcards so that they can use them in their lessons as well. Okay. All right. Jolly Phonics. I feel aware that maybe I'm talking too much and that I'm not going as fast as I should, but I also feel like I'm talking very fast. So I hope you're following me. Give me a thumbs up if you're following. Today really is meant to just be giving you a flavor or an introduction to what we're doing. And it's also an opportunity to connect as well. So we're going to be talking about that in a moment. But let's focus now just on what we have in Jolly Phonics, which is the 5 skills. So the 5 skills of Jolly Phonics. In Jolly Phonics, we've looked at, in order for learners to be able to break through to English literacy, they need to be able to, they need to know the letter sounds. So we need to teach learners what the sounds look like, how to pronounce them, okay? And they need to pronounce them accurately. Then skill number 2 is about learning the letter formation. So once they know how to pronounce them, what they look like, then they need to learn how to form them accurately. So that's the knowledge that they need to have in the background. And then number 3, the third skill of Jolly Phonics is about applying that knowledge to being able to put those sounds together to read. And so again, remember, they look at a word, they look at the letters or that they see in that word, and they think, well, I know what that says. That says t. I know that says I, and that says p. So this together is t, ip. So that's the word tip. So blending leads to the skill of reading. But learners need to be able to know the letter sounds and what they look like, and they need to be able to run those sounds together to be able to hear the words. And then sounding is the 4th skill. So this is identifying the sounds in words. And so what this means is that if I want to write a word, I'm thinking of the word, let's say I'm thinking of the word dog, and I want to write the word dog, I need to think, well, what are the sounds? I need to identify the sounds in that word to be able to write it. So the word dog, the first sound I can hear is D. What's the next sound I can hear? O. And then the last sound I can hear in the word dog, D, O, G, G. So then, again, I go back to my skill number 1. Do I know the letter sounds? And then number 2, do I know what those sounds look like? And can I write those sounds? And then what I'm doing is I'm applying that knowledge to being able to write. So I've identified the sounds, D or G, and then I'm thinking, how do I write D? Well, it's around up, up, down, flick. Yeah. And then you're applying that knowledge. So I hope you can see how Jolly Phonics fits in with the competence-based curriculum, because it's about knowing the knowledge of what the sounds are of English, how to pronounce them, and how to write them accurately. And it's using that knowledge to be able to then blend those sounds together to read and listen to words and segment those words into their individual sounds to be able to write the words. Okay? And Jolly Phonics does this through 8 steps of a Jolly Phonics lesson. And this is where I can go faster on this, and I can skip through some things because we've got some extra videos on our YouTube page. So if you've not found our YouTube page, if you're on this on Zoom or on Facebook, I really encourage you to find our YouTube page and some of the videos that we've got on our YouTube channel, okay? But there's videos all about each of the steps of Jolly Phonics. So a Jolly Phonics lesson starts with revision. It always starts with looking at some of the sounds we've already taught our learners, but focusing on those that our learners most need to practice. And then we teach a new sound of the day through a story. And that story really needs to bring out an action. So, for instance, the first sound that we've got is S. So we'll teach a story, and it's about a girl called Sally or Sankananji or Sally Fianji. And it's about them going for a walk by a stream and them seeing it's a sunny day and there's a snake on the floor, and they hear the sound S, and the sound S comes out of the story. We've got examples of the stories in our Jolly Phonics Teacher's Guide, okay? So you can see the story there. We've got videos of the stories as well. So there's lots of resources to help you find the stories. But you introduce this new sound of the day along with an action through the story. And then you can also teach songs to help revise and to consolidate the story and the action. Okay, so skill number 1 is learning the letter sounds. And there's videos for all of those steps on our YouTube channel. Skill number 2 is letter formation. And there we're looking about how to hold the pencil correctly, how to sit correctly, what's the right posture, sit like Leo, not like Jumbo, okay? We're looking at the size of the letters and whether they're sitting on the lines, whether there's tall, small, or fall. We're looking at where we start a letter from and talking through the formation of that, okay? And then we've also got lots of games and activities that help you practice letter formation with your class. The next part of the lesson, we're looking at blending. So there's a focused part of the lesson where we're looking at practicing with our learners reading. And when we do that, we're not just drilling them on words and trying to get them to remember words, but we really want to make sure that we're modeling how to read accurately, how to go from something that we can see printed to looking at what sounds are in that word and blending those sounds together to be able to read the word, okay? And then we're also going to be looking at how we can develop writers as well. So that's about where we want to take a word and we want to listen to the sounds that we can hear in that word, identify the sounds in the word, count the sounds in the word, and then have a go at writing the sounds that we can hear as well. And that helps us to write the word altogether. In addition to that, we're going to be thinking about tricky words. So tricky words is those words where part of the word is acting irregularly. And so it's about identifying what part of the word is trying to trick us and then giving our learners new rules or clues or hooks on how they can learn tricky words, okay? So that kind of comes after the 42 sounds as well. Okay, but all of those skills are developed through the steps of a Jolly Phonics lesson. And we've got videos that go through all of those things. So I really want to encourage you to explore and get involved with this, because today is just a snapshot. You've heard about Jolly Phonics. I've read some of your comments. You've heard about it. you want to find out more. So this is your step number one. This is finding out enough about it and enough about how to get hooked in, because we want you to explore our Jolly Phonics channel. So you can see here, this is my colleague Matthews, and there's videos of him taking you through all of the steps of Jolly Phonics. We also want to make sure that you're getting resourced as well. So what we've got here, in my hands, we've got some Jolly Phonics teachers guides, and these are easily available throughout the Copper Belt. And then in other provinces, it's a little bit trickier. So we've partnered with Moabu, and they've got a kiosk in Levy Mall, and so they sell these books as well. And this content is also available through some of their tablets, so you can ask us about that. And then you'll also find that we've partnered with Bookworld as well. So if you've got a Bookworld near you, you'll find that you might, well, if they haven't sold out already, you might find a Jolly Phonics Teacher's Guide in your nearest shop as well, okay? But there's that as a resource. I also want you to see that we've got posters, and these posters, we've put things like this for free available on our Facebook page and part of our website, as well as other outlets as well. And I'm going to show you those in a moment. But the other thing that I want you to get is the Jolly Phonics Lessons app. Again, if you've got an Android device, this is completely free to download in Zambia. And it's got all of the sounds, it's got activities, it's got assessment tools, it's got everything that you could possibly need in order to start delivering Jolly Phonics. Okay, so this is what the Jolly Phonics app looks like. And it's free to download on Google Play Store. If you've got an iPhone, then I think the iStore, actually you have to pay something for that. But on the Google Play Store and on Android devices, it's completely free. Okay, so ways that you can connect really are, you can start off by looking at our website. So sorry, this is our Facebook page. So go to our Facebook page, follow our Facebook page, and you'll keep updated when we send out new videos or whether there's going to be more training in your area, online or in-person training, okay? You'll also see that on in our photo albums, that there's photo albums where we've got all of the slides from a training as well. So you might have noticed today that some of the slides in the training, in the top right-hand corner, there's a star. What that star means, if you've seen that in today's training or any other training that you've been on with us, is that those slides are available on our Facebook page in an album. Okay, so here we've got Pupil Book 2's training slides. We've got other training slides that are down here as well. Okay, so we've got things available there. And then we've also got online resources. So I want to show you this online if I can. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second, and then I'm going to reshare. So yeah, let me show you this. So I hope that you can see my screen okay now. So we have got a link on our Facebook page to what's called a Padlet. And so this is, if you have a look at this on my screen, you can see that if you have a look at the steps of a Jolly Phonics lesson, you'll see videos, lesson demonstrations, you'll see resources that can help you with different parts. And what we're doing is we're building this up over the weeks and the months. So every time we get a new video that we want to upload to here, this we put it on here, and it helps you to have like that CPD. So this is what we call our online teacher resource center. So if there's things that you want to find out about, so you want to find out how to teach tricky words, then you go to the tricky words part, and then you find resources. You'll find here. So we've got resources that you can download for free on And so this one here, it's going to take a moment. But when it comes up, you'll see that it's all of the 72 tricky words, and that this is a resource that you can then cut along the lines, and you can use that to make your own flashcards. But there's videos as well, and instructionals and songs, and we want to get other games and activities on here as well. So that's one of our Padlets. Another one that you want to check out is this, because if you're having difficulty getting hold of your own copy of the Jolly Phonics Teacher's Guide, then you can use this instead. So you'll see that, oh, I did not mean to do that. You'll see that we've got all of the sounds. So this one goes all the way up to, all of the sounds of Jolly Phonics and all of the lessons. Let me go back. My internet's just a bit slow here at the moment, but you would have seen, yeah, here it comes. They come flashing in. And here we've got resources. So we've got a copy of the page, or some of the information from this page, okay, the key information, as well as videos that help you with letter formation. When it was COVID, we did loads of radio lessons, and you'll see all of that content as well. And there's also some videos that have got the sound story on too. So there's lots of resources on our Padlet that is designed to help you start delivering Jolly Phonics. I would say that this resource here has got everything you need offline and handy, okay? So this is the best way to deliver Jolly Phonics. However, if you're having difficulty getting hold of one of these, in the meantime, you can be using our Padlet just here as well, okay? So we're coming in to the end of this time together. So let me just go back to the PowerPoint presentation. Here we go. So we want you to connect in. This really is about how do you get connected? Because we know that when we've done training in the past with people, if you know the proverb about a coal that might be from the fire, when you put it outside of the fire, when it's on its own, it goes cold quite easily. And so it's that same thing. If we're not connected with other people that are sharpening our skills in delivering English literacy, then you're going to go cold. And so we really want to make sure that you're able to stay connected with this community of people that are wanting more and wanting to be better at delivering English. So we want to connect you to our WhatsApp groups. So if you haven't done this already, we want you to be having access for this as well. So, yeah, I hope you can see that clearly. So if you send a message to this phone number that's on the board, and it's the same phone number that's on our Facebook page when you go to our about information, and you send a message that is add me, and then you write the district that you're part of, then we will send you the link for that district. So if you're from Ndola, you'd write add me Ndola, and then we would send you the link to our Jolly Phonics group for Ndola. Okay, that way you'll keep up to date with new videos that we send out. If we've got a training in your area, you'll find out more about that. Okay, so we want you to connect with our WhatsApp group, we want you to connect with our Facebook group, and we want you to connect with our online resources that we've got as well. And finally, we wanted to connect with those people that have been trained. Once you've been trained, it really is about how do you get better at implementing? And that's a key thing. So if you've been trained by us or by somebody else, we want to see how you are using Jolly Phonics in your classroom. And we can't get to everybody's classroom to observe you. We can't come around and see everybody teach. So instead, what we encourage people to do is we encourage them to send us a video instead. And so we have partnered up with the Teaching Council of Zambia, We're one of their CPD service providers. And as such, we can award certificates for completing courses. So if you remember the 5 skills of Jolly Phonics, we've got learning the letter sounds, learning letter formation, learning blending, learning sounding or being able to identify sounds in words, and then finally tricky words. You can earn certificates in each of those 5 skills. And the way you do that is by completing some of these tasks that you'll find. Again, this is on another one of our websites or our Padlets. If you show us that you are teaching teaching letter formation, for instance, if you show us that you're teaching letter formation effectively, then we can send you a CPD certificate that is worth 15 CPD points with the Teaching Council of Zambia. But you'll need to send us videos and you'll need to complete these tasks. So again, if you want to find out more about that, then you need to get in touch and we'll tell you more about that. Or there's links on our Facebook page as well that you'll find. Okay, so those videos, also we use some of those videos to show off good practice so that other teachers can learn from you and the good things that you're doing in your classroom. And if you are really good at implementing Jolly Phonics, if you earn all of those 5 CPD certificates, we'll send you a t-shirt. And then if you've earned your t-shirt and you're officially a Jolly Good teacher, then that means that you're also on a path towards becoming a mentor of others, and maybe even a trainer of others. And as you've heard about Jolly Phonics, others are hearing about Jolly Phonics too. And we are training in different parts of Zambia. We've trained about 10,000 teachers over the last 7 years, and it's still growing. So we're looking to train another 2,000 teachers in Northern Province soon, and then Lusaka Province after that. And we need to find people that are good implementers of Jolly Phonics and that can become good trainers of Jolly Phonics to help us manage sustainability throughout this nation. Okay, so that was a lot of information. Well done on making it. I hope you're still awake and with us. Give us a thumbs up if you're still here. And we want to thank you for your participation as well. But really, this is meant to be an encouragement in how to stay connected. So follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, connect to a WhatsApp group, and really show us how you are learning about Jolly Phonics, how you're implementing what you've learned in your classroom so that we can help you and how to become excellent and get the most out of Jolly Phonics. Okay, you've got my contact details in this. You've got, you can connect to us through WhatsApp or through Facebook, but do get in touch. Let us know how you're doing. Let us know how we can support you in delivering Jolly Phonics. All right, have a good rest of your evening and we'll see you next time.